We'll have a conversation with one of our popular female abogados, long known for not only being feisty, but for being the first to obtain a writ of kalikasan from the Supreme Court. Good morning, I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. With decades of experience in the courtroom and beyond, her body of work spans corporate law, advocacy, and high-profile cases. Attorney Lorna Kapunan has always been standing at the forefront of the law. What insights does she bring to the biggest legal and political battles of our time? A senior partner and an advocate for women's rights and the environment, Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Good morning, Attorney Lorna.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Thank you for having me, and good morning to all of your millions and millions, for your billions of viewers.
Bagay sa Bilyonaryo.
Bagay sa Bilyonaryo.
Well, speaking of billions, yung billions po sa flood control projects, well, the investigation is now pushing forward in both Congress and Senate. Pero lumutang na po ang pangalan din ni former Committee on Appropriations Chairman, Congressman Zaldico. In your assessment, ano po yung vulnerability dito ni Congressman Zaldico, especially given that one of his colleagues in Congress, si Congressman Toby Tiangco, presented a USB in the Senate hearing, containing about 13 billion pesos in insertions for flood control projects that specifically named Congressman Zaldico as the proponent?
Well, we've been in the practice of law. Well, in my case, I've been in the practice of law for 47 years. It's probably older than you. But we know as practicing lawyers that we have to rely on the evidence, especially in this day and age where there's so much artificial intelligence, where there's so much fake news, and people can afford propaganda. People can afford to distort news. I guess the best way here is to rely on evidence. Because of precisely I handle many controversial clients, I know what it means to be tried by media or tried by publicity. And it is unfair. And even with the likes of Zaldico and all of those names, they're still entitled to due process. Mm-hmm. This is not to say that I'm saying they're innocent. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. But we look forward to the creation of an independent committee because as we can see, parang medyo moro-moro, no? In the House, the whistleblowers name the senators. In the Senate, the whistleblowers there name the congressman.
Yeah, I know.
In my personal view, they should all drown in the floods. Those who stole from the people. No? But that's a long ways coming. And let's look at an independent commission. And we can see the political will, Atty. Karen, of Secretary Vince and the President himself. So let's hope that political will translates into justice for the Filipino people.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you were the advisor or legal advisor of Zaldico and even his brother Christopher Co, would you advise them to come home and face the hearings here or wait for the independent commission? Because wala pa po sila dito ever since the 20th Congress started. They haven't been seen. And right now, I think it's been confirmed that they're abroad.
I think allegedly this was for a medical checkup. No? Mm-hmm. And if that is so, I don't see any reason why that cannot be affirmed or verified through a medical certificate and all that. But, you know, flight is consistent with guilt. It's not consistent with innocent. So if he thinks he's innocent, he should come here and face his accusers.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Speaker, Martin Romualdez's name has also been dragged here. He was specifically mentioned by the Discayas in the Senate hearing. How strong is the defense that he has never personally dealt with the Discayas, or even if later on his name is mentioned again, if he says that he personally has not dealt with these people, how strong is that defense?
You know, the one pointing to the Speaker really is the Discayas.
Yes.
And more recent than the discussions pointing to the speaker is a retraction by Curly Discayo when he says, hindi naman sila talaga directly nag-deal kay Speaker Martin. And Speaker Martin has himself said, I don't know the Discayas. So, again, it's a matter of hearsay. It's a matter of hearsay. Discaya said, did not deal with the Speaker directly. I dealt with so-and-so and so-and-so. So, it takes a lot of, somebody must be telling a lie, and maybe an independent commission will be able to find out the truth in all of this. Kasi he said, she said yan eh. So again, it's a matter of where is the evidence? Saan ang resibo? The problem with bribery is there are no receipts for bribery.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was saying na mahirap naman talaga na sabihin na magpa-picture ka or pirmahan mo yung pag-receive mo, di ba? So,
Yeah.
if you're trying to establish this whole case of bribery, graft, and corruption, how can you prove pagka-involved ang politicians? And that's already a general question.
I think I think there would be evidence to show, like, for instance, when was the project? If there is a date of the project and the congressman or senator alluded to was not even a congressman or senator then that probably speaks for itself. Or pag sinabi na ginamit ang lisensya ng isang contractor na hindi naman talaga yon ang then that will speak for itself, because who did the project, if at all, no? So there are evidence that can be put together, not maybe directly, but with lawyers who really seek the truth, or who will aid a commission in seeking the truth, it will come out. You cannot lie. Sabi nga nila, the problem with lies is not only does it quarrel with the truth, but it quarrels among themselves. So if you say, kung minsan makakalimutan mo yung sinabi mo na kasinungalingan, mamaya yung sunod na kasinungalingan mo will also contradict the earlier lie that you said. So
Yeah. What about establishing dummies? Because yung mga ibang corporations dito, it seems like they have dummies, like the person who appeared for Wawaw Construction, and there are some some reports that yung mga ibang mga nakalista na construction companies are really run by dummies, but some of them have links with members of Congress or legislators na gumagamit lang ng dummies. Paano may establish ang mga
I think that's why
totoong owners po?
ang kailangan dito, hindi lang Senate or congressional investigation, because that is limited to in aid of legislation. No? Although kuminsan, they're forgetting the real mandate and already being judge and prosecutor at the same time. No? But this is where we need a whole of government approach. You're mentioning dummies. The best evidence are papers with the SEC. So I'm glad that Chairman Francis Lim is very proactive, looking at incorporation papers, looking at cleaning up, and digitizing. There also is a move. There is a Senate bill proposed by Bam Aquino, which has to do with blockchain technology. According to that bill, although it's very raw, according to blockchain experts, pag nag-blockchain technology ka, digitize na yung mga kontrata, and it's very transparent. You know what the project is, how much went into the project, who got the money, where did it go, the status of the project, and it's open. It's open to civil society.
Yeah.
The problem with technology is it is not a substitute for thinking, no, and for the truth, because if you can distort the truth, you can distort as well technology, and alam naman natin maraming hackers to. No? So it's not foolproof. But going back to your question of
How do you even identify the dummies?
Yeah,
Kasi
the dummies.
kung sino-sino yung linalagay na supposedly na owner, but if they're really owned by, for example, a member of Congress, pero sinabi nila nag-divest na sila, and iba na yun nandun, but they're still the beneficial owner pala behind the scenes. How do you reconcile that with the paper trail that names other people?
For instance, if you are a billion peso contractor, you cannot have authorized capital of less than $1 million, di ba? 250,000 authorized capital, and then you're dealing with big construction or projects, not only flood projects. No, sometimes it's just simple matter of overpricing. Yung mga cat's eye na yan, yung mga etc. No, it will come out. BIR, who files with the BIR? For instance, these cars. Those luxury cars should have paid taxes. Who were they? The dealers? Are the dealers responsible or the contractors? Meron customs. Paano nakalusot sa customs yan? So it really is not a function of just examining or looking into these contractors. Since this is an independent commission and President assures that they will have no connections, whoever named there will have no connections with any politician whatsoever and will be very credible, then they should they should ask government agencies to cooperate. SEC, BIR, Customs.
Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Anti-Money Laundering Council. They should look at the bank secrecy law. If at all, in aid of legislation, tanggalin na yung bank secrecy law na yan. Strengthen the power of the Anti-Money Laundering Council, because at the end of the day, it's not only sending people to jail, there must be return
Yeah, the
of the
forfeiture
money,
proceedings
forfeiture.
as well. Yeah.
And somebody has to make those projects happen, lalo na mga ghost projects. Kung kailangan talaga ng dam dyan or ng bridge dyan, dapat may gumawa dyan. The monies that are confiscated should go into that.
Yeah. And do you believe that if this investigation continues in Congress and Senate, that we will be able to have members of Congress or Senate appear before them?
Yes, I think so.
Palagay mo, kaya? Like, let's
I
say,
think so.
Congress mismo magpapatawag ng fellow congressman, because it was raised that if they have a fellow member of Congress appear before them, then it seemed like they were not settled as to whether they would be appearing as a resource person or as a member of Congress, and therefore they can refuse to answer questions that are propounded to them.
Attorney Karen, the problem with Senate sessions in aid of legislation or Congress sessions, the House sessions, no, namamatay sa parliamentary procedure. So the senators stand up and they say privilege speech or point of order and all that. So it gets lost in this haze of parliamentary procedure. Nakakalimutan, and then they will also say there should be interparliamentary courtesy. So at the end of the day, I think everybody's just waiting for an independent commission, especially in the context of Karen. Ang dami-dami ng countries all over the world. Recently, Nepal, no?
Yeah, I saw what happened to Nepal. Nagsusunog na sila ng mga bahay ng mga
And yet, remember,
politicians.
Nepal was our poster country for the happiness index. Remember?
Yeah.
When they measured their GDP, not in terms of gross domestic product, but in terms of happiness. Number 1 sila sa happiness index. Ngayon, bakit sila unhappy? Very, very simple. Tinanggalan sila ng social media. Tinanggalan sila ng Facebook, ng TikTok, mga ganyan. So, outraged. The people were outraged. No? So, you need a tipping point. Take the case of Indonesia. Indonesia, which now is being copied by left mga aktivista, no, sa kaliwa. They're throwing mud at the gates of the Vizcara, no. In fact, there is a recent fear of mga Forbes Park residents that it might happen to them, so they're tightening security. But what sparked the Indonesia civil disobedience? It was just a Grab motorcycle delivery person who was killed. So lahat, hindi lang mga Grab ang involved. It was all of society. And that sparked it. So, kung ganun lang kaliit, may pinatay na delivery boy, no? O dito sa Nepal.
And I think in Indonesia, they also found out some of the benefits that their politicians were
Correct.
enjoying. Oo, na hindi man lang malaki. I can't remember if it was $3,000
Yes,
or
it was
something.
3,000 additional to their compensation.
Yeah.
What is 3,000 compared to the billions here? No? So, kaya lang, in the midst of poverty, in the midst of deprivation, nakikita nila. So, at least, you need a government that reacts fast. No? I think sa Indonesia, binawalan ng foreign travel, lahat ng public officials. No? Just stay put. That's it. Like now, what's going to prevent congressmen or the senators from laundering?
Yeah, oo. And right now, pag nasa lookout order lang, hindi naman mapipigilan
Hindi.
umalis, di ba? So, ilalagay lang nila yung details ng
Yeah.
person leaving, but they can leave.
That is correct. That's why, to me, at the end of the day, it is media. It is responsible media spreading the right information. It is us as citizens or practicing lawyers, whatever it is,
Yeah, or giving the right legal opinion.
giving the right legal opinion or vigilance. Kasi gone are the days na mag-EDSA tayo. In fact, pag tinignan ng social media, yung mga nag-i-incite, let's meet in EDSA. They're using the EDSA shrine. And recently, a call to EDSA, yung pala was not a call by a civil society group, but it was discovered na mga DDS, no? Mga Duterte supporters who are using EDSA, a symbol of our people power, to ignite unrest. No? Lalong-lalo na the recent alleged state of health of past President Duterte, which led to the cancellation of the
The confirmation hearing.
September 23 confirmation hearing. Pag may nangyari dyan, madadivert na naman ang attention from what's going on now, the investigation into this flood anomalies,
Yeah.
flood contractors, madadivert na naman to The Hague, to ICC. No? So, we have to really be steadfast.
Well, you've witnessed a lot of national cases, high-profile cases. Mabilis ba ma-distract ang mga Pinoy? Pag nagkaroon na naman ng bagong issue, do you think kaya nilang takpan tong flood control projects or just let it wane?
To me, I think this flood control project is really shocking. Is really shocking to the senses. Hindi pati yung hindi na yung for instance, sabi nila yung class A lang naman issue yan, yung issue ng security ng mga bahay nila sa Forbes. No. It is an issue that goes to the very heart of every Filipino kasi nafe-feel nila yung bahay nila nalubog. Yung anak nila hindi makapasok sa eskwelahan kasi floods or ginagamit yung eskwelahan as evacuation center. So it goes to the daily life of our people.
Yeah, and worse, may mga namamatay talaga. Not only from leptospirosis, but really like the hazard of the flooding.
Totoo yan, totoo yan. So in the midst of all of this suffering, which is felt at their own level, no? Kanya-kanyang level yan. For instance, the floods. Where is our food sustainability? Yung mga agricultural lands natin na dapat tinaniman ng mga rice, ginawang condominium. Yung condominium na yan, ginawa ng mga project na agricultural naman. So all of the problems of our people, and now most recently this flood control issue, flood projects, etc., will not disappear. Heads must roll.
Well, in legal practice, sa mga courts, meron tayong inhibition of judges pagka merong conflict of interest. If there's, for example, a relation to one of the litigants or one of the parties or even affiliation kung kaibigan nila. Dito, when we have senators who are colleagues and congressmen who have colleagues that are now being implicated, meron bang grounds to ask for an inhibition from, for example, sa infra committee that's hearing this Congress investigation or from the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee? Even Senator Jinggoy Estrada, who was visible dun sa Blue Ribbon Committee, nadawit na rin yung pangalan niya. Is that something that can be compelled of the senators and congressmen?
I don't think so, because even in courts, no, when we feel that there is prejudice or there is unfairness of a certain judge at any level, whether Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, or even the Regional Trial Court and the MTC, the inhibition is addressed to the judge himself or herself, no? So sila yung nagde-decide. So it's a conscience thing. Ang problema sa iba nating legislatures dyan, wala namang konsensya. Either walang conscience or they feel that their arrogance, their bravado will cover their guilt, no? So we have a situation here where after the privileged speech of Jinggoy Estrada, when he was so angry, he said, I will participate. I will participate. He did not say, I will recuse myself because of the cloud. Or even Joel Villanueva, with all of his theatrics, he will participate. You would think that because he was named, and may disappearing text messages ka, I mean, for instance, an ordinary person will say, ba't ka magpapadala ng disappearing text message kung wala ka talagang intensyon mag-cover up, no? So these are things na lumalabas, but if anyone asks him to recuse himself, I don't think he will. It's a conscience thing, eh. And sometimes, the problem with some legislators is they even use the name of the Lord in vain, as God would witness, and then quote from the Bible and all that, which I think is wrong. The Bible of our justice system is the Constitution. Kung gumamit ka, nagnakaw ka ng public funds, kulong ka. Unfortunately, wala na tayong death penalty. Maybe in aid of legislation for plunder and things like that, there should be a death penalty, like heinous crimes. Like, kasi rape is a heinous crime. I mean, in our advocacy as women advocates, we say it's a heinous crime. But tinanggal natin yung death penalty for rape. This is more than rape of a person. This is a rape of 110 million Filipino people.
Yeah.
This generation and generations to come. Kasi hindi lang problema ng ninakaw ang pondo. Wala na tayong pondo for what are essential needs. So anong gagawin natin, Attorney Karen? Uutang tayo.
Which is what's going on right now for a lot of our flagship projects na effective sa flood control ay mga foreign funded. So
Foreign
of course
funded
you have to
na. And
shoulder
then,
the extra expense of that.
Hindi lang yan. Foreign funding will require that you pay. Kasi may automatic debt appropriation lang. I think at the moment it's 20%. But 20% of a trillion budget is a lot to just go to foreign debt. And where does it go? Where does the debt go?
Yeah. And Attorney Lorna, since you mentioned Senator Joel Villanueva, how strong is the evidence presented against him so far by Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez? Yung na-mention mo nga, text messages, and also the photos that surfaced of Senator Joel Villanueva with District Engineer Henry Alcantara.
You know, the burden now is on them. The burden shifts to them because it's now perception. Like a lot of people are saying PR is public relations. No, PR is about perception and reality. Right now, they have to fight that perception of all of us. Na, uy, magnanakaw pala si Senator ganyan. So, they have to have very convincing evidence that, number one, it's not them. And that's provable. Sabi ni Senator Jinggoy, itong sinasabi niyang bagman, wala naman sa staff ko. I mean, if that can be shown, no? or Joel, ang problema, there are too many details to have been invented. Yung dineliver ng dalawang driver sa bahay or sa Jesus is Lord headquarters, mga ganyan.
At nandun siya sa text din. Oh.
Yeah, nasa text na yun. So there are too many details. The problem though with details is you can be selective. You can be selective in your details. Kagaya ng one instance is, sinabi ng isang district engineer, merong mga projects si Senator Joel, but this has nothing to do with the flood issue. This has to do with additional whatever.
Municipal halls yata, oo.
Yeah. So you can distort it.
Multipurpose halls, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, multipurpose halls, additional. No? So right now, pagod ng tao. Yung this Senate investigation and this House investigation has substituted K-drama for
Oo,
entertainment.
kahit ako na stress pag habang nanonood pero talagang nagugulat ako sa mga revelations.
It's
Well,
shocking nga, Karen. No? And what is even more shocking is, this did not happen overnight. Hindi lang naman nangyari yan ngayon. Nangyari nung panahon ni Duterte, nangyari nung iba-ibang Secretary of
well, speaking of resibo, yung mga lumulutang po na resibo, yung mga pictures na linalabas ng netizens, merong pictures ng mga disguise, for example, with former Secretary Mark Villar and then the recent Secretary Manny Bonoan as well. So, given yung mga pictures na lumulutang, would you consider that as part of circumstantial evidence?
It depends because, for instance, specifically, yung picture ni Jinggoy, where Bryce said that it was during his birthday. Sabi ni Jinggoy, yung birthday ko, naka-suit ako. Hindi naman ako naka-red na uniform. Ano? So, again, pictures are pictures. But what they are pictures of, I mean, Karen, you're a public personality. I'm sure people have selfies with you every day. When they see you. Pag nakikita ka, si Attorney Karen, picture. Mamaya. That's why, I mean, me as well, no? Attorney Kapunan, pwede bang magpa-picture? I don't know. You don't say no. So, but then they will post, sabihin nila, tinan mo sa asawa nila. Tinan mo, abogado ko na si Attorney Kapunan. Post. Tinan mo, ganyan, post. So
it has to be corroborated by
it has to
other
be
evidence.
corroborated, and especially now, with artificial intelligence, no, you can distort pictures.
Well, Malacanang announced that it will assemble a private independent team for the flood control fiasco. And ito na nga yung minimension mo na sana independent na lang. Who, in your opinion, should compose that team? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. Attorney Lorna, Malacanang announced that it will form a private independent team to investigate this flood control fiasco. In your opinion, who should be part of that team?
I think because of his recent pronouncement, I think Mayor Magalong should be part of that team. No? And
Lumutang na yung pangalan niya, so you think he's a good candidate to have?
I think he's a good candidate to have because, City of Baguio speaks for itself, no? The reforms there. No? Plus, he, upon his initiative, together with 4 other mayors, Mayor Joy, Mayor Vico, several others, no? Two more. He revived kasi 2022 pa ata itong Mayors for Good Governance, no? Pero hindi pinapansin. Over 1,000 something mayors, mga kukonti lang. But now it's increasing to more than 200 na ang Mayors for Good Governance, and they vet. Meron mga mayors dyan na nag-apply for membership and rini-reject kasi may ties sa gambling or sa etc. No? Or may political families, may fat dynasties nga eh. Kasi ngayon, hindi na thin dynasty, hindi na pag, kunyari, asawa, pag termed out na yung asawa. Ngayon, hindi na yun. All the positions from governor to congressman to senator to local government to barangay, dynasty na yan. No? So,
Well, since naalala ko lang yung mga asawa at family members, how did Congresswoman Yeda Romualdez get back to Congress? Because we were of the impression na tapos niya na yung nakatatlong terms na siya sa Congress. And now she's back as a Tingog party list. And she's with her son, Andrew Romualdez, then sa Tingog party list. So basically we have Speaker Martin Romualdez, the wife Congressman Yeda, and their son Andrew also all in Congress.
Well, I have no personal knowledge, no, but I think it has to do with there may have been substitution there.
Yeah, there was indeed substitution noon.
Yeah.
Nag-resign yung mga naunang nominees, and then so Yeda assumed one of the posts again for Tingog party list.
Yeah, but then that presents a legal question. That presents a legal question for COMELEC to decide because right now, in terms of, there is no difference between a party list representative and a district representative, no? So if you're termed out, kung tapos na yung term mo, you cannot morph into a party list, no? So it's a legal issue that the COMELEC should decide.
Pero kung wala mag-file, it won't be decided.
Yeah, well, if not, nobody files. Although motu proprio, the COMELEC has motu proprio powers. Like for instance, yung 30 million donation kay campaign donation kay
Ni
Senator
Lubiano
Cheese.
kay Senator Cheese.
Yes, there has been no complaint, but Chairman COMELEC Chair Garcia said that motu proprio, they'll look into it. Kasi naka-declare sa sa Certificate of Expenditures. And to say na hindi naman siya connected, it was a personal contribution, not a company contribution, of not his contracting company, I think it's not a good argument because our COMELEC laws says whether as a person or as a corporate entity, if you give a campaign donation in exchange for favors, then that is a violation. Or with an expectancy of a favor, that is a violation. So motu proprio, itong COMELEC may motu proprio powers, no?
So
it should look into
And
that.
sorry, nalihis po tayo. So going back to the independent commission, you mentioned Mayor Benjamin Magalong as someone that you think would be able to fulfill that role very well. Sino pa po yung ibang names that come to your mind?
I think I'm a member of Management Association of the Philippines, and there is a group there that really has formed an independent committee that really will look into this. No?
Nagawa sila ng committee
Yes,
rin?
yes.
Are these names that they're proposing to the president? Or gagawa rin sila ng sarili nilang investigation?
Internally, this will be composed of members, no, of MAP, and named there sila former DPWH Secretary
Babe Singson.
Babe Singson is head of that committee, together with Rex Drilon is also a member of the committee, and several other members. In fact, I did volunteer for that committee as well. But they would be good. They would be good names to put into the independent commission. Maybe a retired justice of the Supreme Court with no connections whatsoever. Like, for instance, maybe Puno, for instance.
Yeah, he would be, I think, a good choice,
Yeah.
Chief Justice Renato Puno. What about former COA Commissioner Heidi Mendoza?
I don't suggest that because right now, COA has to be investigated as well.
So baka may former colleague siya doon.
Yes, yes. Kasi at the end of the day, miski na sabihin nila hindi active ang COA, meron kayong audit functions, whether post-audit or pre-audit. Hindi nyo ginawa ang trabaho nyo kung nakalusot yan. No?
What about DPWH? DPWH Secretary Babe Singson was also formerly part of DPWH. Are you not concerned that meron din conflict kasi kakilala niya yung mga nandun sa DPWH ngayon?
I think the reputation of former Secretary Babe Singson speaks for itself. There has been no record of any anomaly during his time. No? Ping De Jesus as well, no? Would be a good candidate.
Yeah. Well, going to the flood control investigation that's going on right now, si Bryce Hernandez has been transferred from the PNP Custodial Center to the Pasay City Jail on account of Senate still retaining his legal custody. Do you think this was a smart move, considering that based dun sa mga pinangalanan niya, maraming big names involved? So I assume na meron ding talagang good reason to also secure his physical safety.
Well, yes, but I can appreciate that the debate going on in the Senate, no, kasi yung mga nagte-testify sa Kongreso, gusto nila sa Kongreso sila, no? Because they're testifying against senators. So they don't want, in fact, Bryce was held in contempt by the Senate. So he now hesitates. He says, I don't want to go to the Senate. Just keep me here. In fact, seeking the help of Speaker Martin, no? Who I understand communicated, because he is the Speaker, to the Senate President on that request. That's why nagkadebate sila na let's keep custody, and thereby the distinction between physical custody and legal custody. There is a difference there.
Pero bakit naman Pasay City Jail? Is that fair? I mean, based on this is an investigation in aid of legislation, wala pa namang kasong na-file kay Bryce Hernandez, and he has been cooperative in the last hearing. So, bakit naman Pasay City Jail agad?
I don't know. I don't know why, but certainly they should have a sense of what jail feels like.
Yeah, you're really punishing a person without due process. Maigi pa yung na-file ng kaso, makakapag-bail.
In fact, I understand meron namang facilities ang Senate to hold them there.
Yes, exactly.
And the House as well, no?
Para namang naparusahan because may pinangalanan siyang mga senators. I mean, well, and then you have Henry Alcantara, who appears to be the boss, na hindi naman na-detain.
Hindi siya na-detain because he was the one that went to the rescue of Senator Jinggoy and Senator Joel, no? And said, wala silang kinalaman dito, contradicting the testimony of this engineer Bryce, no? So I think they will all self-destruct. They will all self-destruct.
But
so,
in the meantime, the other witnesses might be intimidated kung ganyan yung nakikita nila.
I think these witnesses will not be intimidated. Ang kapal ng mukha nila, di ba? Sabi nga ni President, to quote him, mahiya naman kayo. Walang hiya na yung mga yan. Hindi lang makapal ang mga mukha nila. They don't care. They don't care anymore. And this is where we also need to look at our justice system. We have to clean up as well, no? To look at our justice system, because pag tinignan natin ang history ng courts natin, wala namang big fish na nako-convict. Or kung may nako-convict, after a few years, several years, naa-acquit.
Yeah, so let's go back to the Napoles case before. Si Senator Jinggoy Estrada was sent to prison before because of this whole Napoles pork barrel scam, along with Bong Revilla, Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. Pero sila nakalaya na. Napoles is still in jail. Palagay mo ba history will repeat itself? And in this time, nadawit na naman si Senator Jinggoy. Could he possibly go back to jail? Or like you said, walang mga big fish na makukulong?
I think what's different between the situation and now, and the Napoles situation, is there is an independent commission.
Ngayon.
And depends on how the powers of the independent commission are defined. I think it should be broad enough to include subpoena, to include contempt, to include many things now that a collegial court can do, should be given to that independent commission. Yun ang wala sa Napoles case, no? So sa Napoles case, ang dami-daming kaso ng isang Napoles. So even if she is acquitted in a case, nasa jail pa rin siya, no? Because marami pang ano. Ang problema nakita natin sa Napoles case is, hindi naman yung mga big time, hindi naman yung mga senators or congressmen, no? Except for those names that you mentioned. Ang nako-convict yung mga assistant nila, no?
Like the chief of staff of Juan Ponce Enrile, si Gigi Reyes.
Yes. What saved her was their argument on the right to a speedy trial, no? Which saved them, which I understand was also used by Senator Laila when she invoked the right to a speedy trial. But in her case, it is different because she was granted acquittal based on a demurrer, no? She didn't demurrer yung...
Hindi kayo nakapag-presenta ng enough evidence.
The prosecution, those complaining or charging her for violation of the law, were not able to present enough evidence. So, although, hanggang ngayon, pending pa rin yun. Ano? But, so that is the situation.
Yeah.
Sana yung talagang yung kailangan managot, wag naman yung mga assistant nila, wag naman yung mga driver nila, yung mga
Or yung mga
bagmen
dummies nila.
Yung mga dummies nila, lahat sila. Because you can build a case of all of them are principals, no?
Attorney Lorna, I want to pick your brain on bakit casino ang pinupuntahan nitong Bulacan District engineers and yan, si Henry Alcantara at saka yung mga assistant niya under him.
I
Yung
think
BGC boys na tinatawag ni Senator Ping Lacson. Perhaps you can enlighten us from that perspective. Kasi iniisip ng mga tao, mahilig lang sila magsugal or may kinalaman ba to sa money laundering?
Ay, klarong-klarong may kinalaman to sa money laundering. If you noticed, all of these engineers in Bulacan, no, go to the casino, not to play, but to launder. Kunyari, ang style dyan, no, meron kang, let's say, 400 million na dala, no, bibili ka ng token. Kasi you don't gamble with money, no? You gamble with tokens. Tapos matalo ka. Either matalo ka or manalo ka. Ang gagawin mo, kunyari magbibet ka ng let's say 100 million. Nanalo ka. Kung nanalo ka, okay ka kasi yung 400 mo may plus 100 million tumubo ka pa. Pagkatapos nun, stop ka na. I-claim mo na lahat yan. Convert your tokens into money. Hindi na traceable yun, no? Pwede kang bayaran ng real money, na-launder mo na yun. Hindi na galing sa kung saan sa ang source, no? At
so pagka dineposit mo yan sa bangko, meron ka ng proof na nanalo ka sa casino?
Yeah, kasi beyond 50, the banks will already say suspicious transaction to, no? Lalo na kung unless regular depositor ka sa bank, then they will not suspect. But ang source na, they will declare they won. And they have the casino records to show that they won or that they got the money from the casino, no? So, ang alam ko, hindi lang cash, pwedeng cheque. So, imagine instead of carrying 10 noodle boxes of actual cold cash, isang cheque lang yon, na-launder mo na yung pera mo, no? So,
kaya pala binabankroll supposedly ni District Engineer Henry Alcantara yung 5 mga BGC boys niya. Kasi nagtataka ko, ang dami naman yung pera at payag siya na isugal yung pera niya na palaruin lang. So kung bait naman niya na boss, yung pala it's to have a lot of people help with the laundering.
Ito. Toka mo to, toka mo to, toka mo to, toka mo. Yan. So they will bet. They will either all lose or they will all win. But at the end of the day, they change. Pinapalitan nila yung gambling, yung tokens nila into real money and then bring it to the bank. And sabihin nila sa bangko, winnings nila yan. Or palitan nila ng cheque, punta na sila sa abroad, mag-open sila ng account somewhere.
Pwede rin sa abroad. Okay.
Pwede rin sa
pag
abroad.
natatalo naman, how do they guard against losing yung mga kinita nila from the projects?
Yung tinatalo nila is katiting compared to the billions that they have through the years gathered. No? The other thing is, kung hindi, yung mga mayaman, meron rin mga bisyo yan. They either buy expensive cars or they buy houses.
Paintings madaling bilihin na
Paintings,
walang
kasi
taste.
artwork is difficult to give a valuation to artwork. No? That's why merong isang move to value the artwork. Kasi ang problema ng Diskaya, dinisplay nila yung bahay, yung art pieces nila doon, yung mga expensive furniture nila doon. And BIR was quick to say, that's difficult. Except, kasi wala naman registration yan eh. And you know, art is in the eye of the beholder. No?
Yeah.
It may not mean, I won't pay $1 million for this piece, but somebody might pay 10 million for it. So,
yeah.
pero kotse, may value yan, may registration,
registration,
may
yeah.
et cetera yan.
So kung ganyan po yung mga nakikita natin, do you think these are laws that need to be changed as well to fill the gaps for money laundering and
Oh, yes.
in relation to graft and corruption?
I think we should give more teeth to our money laundering council. Hindi lang yung, and when do they step in, no? There should be more, it should be more proactive. Like for instance, maybe there could be a reporting mechanism. Maybe customs should report to the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Yung, kung may alert ang DOJ, hindi man na, o may suspected na ganyan, dapat ganun din. Sa may dumating na shipment na ganyan. Dapat may timbre ang Money Laundering Council or BIR.
So,
no?
mag-interconnect ng data.
Yes.
ang
I think you should
Customs, Anti-Money Laundering Council, BIR.
That's
and
why,
siguro mga ibang registration na rin, like LTO, para pag may rini-register na kotse sa kanila. Kasi yun yung tanong
correct.
may LTO registration yung mga luxury cars, paano nakalusot sa customs?
Dapat nakatimbre yan. No? Nakatimbre na yan. Now, I don't know if there is existing technology, but I'm looking forward to understanding more. Because our DBM mentioned na meron na silang system of a digital notebook. A digital notebook that will track expenditures of public funds and connect all the relevant agencies together, no. Tingnan natin.
Ang bilis ng oras, Attorney Lorna. 5 minutes na lang pala. So I will ask you about one of the high-profile cases that you're handling right now. Are you still representing Atong Ang?
He has a spokesperson, Attorney Gabby Bilyonaryo, and I think Attorney Gabby has already issued a statement.
When you first took on this case before, did you expect this to grow into what it has become? It has become like really a national issue, like capturing all the headlines.
Well, this is no similar from the existing flood
Yes. Oo, iba naman to.
controversy.
Yeah.
No,
oo.
it's not. It's similar.
Yeah. In terms of the attempt, pero ibang issues. Oo.
Yeah, because this whole case hinges upon the testimony, hearsay testimony of whistleblower, who himself is accused and is close to being convicted in the Regional Trial Court of Manila. And so the timing is suspect. Bakit siya biglang, I am a whistleblower? Kasi mako-convict na siya. Plus, he has
For what case is his impending conviction sa Regional Trial Court?
Exactly, on this Sabongero case, on the kidnapping, on the disappearances, etc., etc. No? And precisely that is why when I looked at the case, I believe in the innocence of Mr. Ang. But again, that's a matter of evidence. What should happen here is there should be no undue haste. Ang nangyayari, sadly, our Secretary of Justice keeps making media announcements. Dapat wala na yung, let us not weaponize media when there is a pending investigation. And that's happening. That should apply to all pending cases.
Well, the Secretary...
Nagagamit kayo sa media eh.
Oo, the Secretary of Justice, Boying Remulla, announced that they will be issuing subpoenas to Atong Ang, Gretchen Barreto, and other personalities. What would be the effect of that subpoena? Saan papunta itong kaso na to?
Well, like all respondents in an investigation, there should be due process. And I understand this is a complicated case because based on my understanding, there are 61 named respondents by one whistleblower, which by itself is suspicious. No? Kasi it keeps growing and growing and growing. And the story that goes around is he has been calling people, hindi kita sasama sa listahan kung magbigay ka ng 300 million. That story has gone around.
Wait, so who's making calls?
This whistleblower.
Patidongan.
Patidongan has, and there will be testimony, I understand, to that effect. But I don't want to preempt the handling lawyers. In due course, there will be more information about this.
And does that mean na merong mafa-file na criminal case against Atong Ang, Gretchen Barreto, and other personalities, considering the DOJ will issue a subpoena?
I think the issuance of subpoena does not mean a conviction.
Or
Or
a
an
filing
acquittal.
of a criminal case?
Does not mean the filing of a criminal case, because there still is the opportunity of the respondents to present evidence. In fact, they're called respondents. They're not called accused. No, ongoing investigation. Sana ilipat from the office of the DOJ, who has shown his bias. No, I hope it has nothing to do with his wanting to be ombudsman. Shortlisted si secretary as ombudsman. No? Sana hindi naman connected there, but we're still relying. We hope that there will be due process here.
But in the meantime, is Atong Ang and Gretchen Barreto, are they in the Philippines? They haven't left the country.
I have no personal knowledge of their whereabouts, but I don't think they would leave the country at a time like this. Plus, that's verifiable. No? Always verifiable, leaving the country or not. But
Yeah, especially since they're on the lookout order of the Bureau of Immigration.
I think here everybody deserves due process under the law. Whether you're Joel Villanueva, Jinggoy Estrada, and in fact the Discayas, no. But let us hope. You and I have been lawyers for a couple of years.
Decades. A few decades.
Ako, 47 years as lawyer, and I still believe in our justice system.
Yeah.
But more than that, I believe in our Filipino people. I believe we cannot be fooled. Sabi nga nila, you can fool some people some of the time, all people some of the time, but you cannot fool all people all the time. We're at that stage now. Sana wag naman tayong maging Nepal or Indonesia. But kung ganun ang solusyon, no, why not?
Thank you so much, Attorney Lorna. Sayang naman, kulang sa time.
I
hope we
know,
could
hindi
have
pa
you
tayo
back for a
nagchismis.
profile interview.
Hindi ba tayo nagchismis ng mga
Yes.
showbiz personalities
Yeah, kulang
ko?
pala sa time. We'll have you back again.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Attorney Lorna.
Thank you too.
Law is
Attorney
more than a
Karen.
profession. It is a responsibility to seek justice and a commitment to speak truth to power. Every case taken, every advocacy fought reflects courage in the service of the nation. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for insights on issues that matter. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.